When we meditate, we understood our brain is slowing down from a normal wakeful state of brainwave frequencies of beta, which is a wakeful state frequency, to alpha, to theta, to delta. There are these 4 levels. There is a 5th level also. It's called gamma. Wakeful state. Within wakeful state, we have 2 levels. One is anxious, worry, very stressful. This is the state many are before meditation. Once we are into meditation, generally we are coming down into a calming, no stress state, very neutral state. It's called low beta, which is, for example, right now where we are very attentive in a listening mode. Then as you get down to sleep, or as you wake up in the morning, or when you sit down for meditation, we're going to this lowered state called alpha. So slower frequency. So when we are in that state, we are generally getting ordinary solutions to the general problems. For example, if you've been struggling to decide, should I go to Goa or should I go to Rajasthan for my vacation? Always have choices, right? We have so much data, I don't know which one to go. So the ordinary solutions come. They give you a better clarity, that insight, that thing comes to you. When you wake up, you know that, okay, I think this time I have to go to Rajasthan. Then we go a little deeper. I mean, meditation process is not a gradual process, but depending on the depth to which we have gone, in terms of how much we could empty ourselves, how much that elevated feelings are happening for us, where we might end up ourselves be in any of these states. But very easily we slip into this alpha state, which is like that about to go to sleep state, or when you wake up in the morning state, which is where we are. So we go in alpha. Then we go, if we go into the next state of meditation, if it happened suddenly, again, I'm not saying it's gradual. Sometimes it's gradual. You're going from one to the lower states. It is gradual sometimes. Sometimes you can just go there, into it. Meaning the amount of time it takes, basically, for some people, it can be like instantaneous. For some, you got to meditate for enough times, right? It's all state of mind. So when you go into this theta, next one, lower states, each one have a range of frequency, but you don't need to remember the range of frequency. But theta state is where we start. The alpha is relaxation. Theta becomes very deep relaxation. Theta becomes discovery, inventive, insightful state where we actually start. For example, musicians can compose new scores. You may be looking at a complex problem that you're trying to solve for, let's say, Aadhaar. Aadhaar is dealing with billions of bits of data. So trying to solve a complex problem for that project somewhere, technologically, something is an issue is there. So this insight might come, saying, look, this is where the challenge is there. It's a state of creation. Theta is where we create, we get new ideas. It's also the time some healing start happening. The moment we are getting into stressless state, which is an alpha itself, then healing is there. All stress-related diseases, start going away just with normal meditation. That's why as soon as people start, there is this general healing is happening because that's all stress-related. They come out. Then they go away. When we go into this theta, which is insightful, creative states, we become more creative. We are ready to adapt to break the old routines, old habits, and then we are doing things because that's what gives us newer opportunity to do new things, and so opportunity to create new things. Little more deeper, we're going into this delta, which is the deep sleep state, which is the deep trance state, where invariably some kind of healing happening. It is a sleep state. So that means some people will go into sleep in meditation, something that we go in during regular wakeful time. Wakeful time, it takes a long time, but in meditation, you go into the deep sleep. It's very important for the body. It's called the rapid eye movement sleep, REM sleep. It's very important for the body, so we go into that. So many times when we finish meditation, come out and say, today, I just blanked out. I didn't know what happened. It was so deep. It's a dreamless sleep, right? The REM sleep is dreamless sleep. So we want to be in the dreamless sleep where you're totally are with the body. So when we are in that state, there is healing happening. Absolutely. Some kind of repair is happening in the body. But now there is another state, which is called the gamma state, where it is until beta, alpha, theta, delta, these are all lowering the frequency, but the gamma is a frequency which is above beta, 4200 hertz per second. Suddenly it is a very heightened active state. It's called supernatural state. It's a very heightened activity, supernatural. What comes to your mind when you say somebody is supernatural? So supernatural state where they observed, Dr. Joe Dispenza has done tremendous amount of work in trying to bring this out in documenting in the 2 books that is written. You Are the Placebo and Becoming Supernatural. The supernatural state is a state of enormous heightened activity in the brain, which can be corroborated with those deep mystical experiences that one is having. If somebody is saying that I've seen myself as this entire universe and then I'm not able to express in words and I am this in this state, so then that is the time we've gone into the supernatural state of gamma, where the brain circuits all over the brain, all the neural networks in a long time to come. That feeling, that visuals, whatever that we're experiencing in a long time to come, which sort of drives us as a long-term memory to go back and again. That's one side from a mystical experience. But there is another side, a lot of deep healing in spontaneous remissions are things people feel that today I've healed. Many said there is something called astral surgery, or the energy-based healing that for people that they feel that is happening, where in our teams too, of course we're not measuring because these are natural states. Maybe at some point we may measure, but in teams too, in these classes, some people where for years and years, if they have been with a specific condition and they have said that now I'm able to come out, and it is they are going into this gamma states and then healing. Now, what we do is what we do. Our regular meditation is good enough. Now, if we go longer, generally there is experience that if people who are doing in PSS movement, general experience is that if you go longer for slightly over that 45 minutes, over that 1 hour. Sometimes we do meditations, longer meditation, particularly those who want to heal, who have a long-term ailment, long-term condition that they want to heal. Then you meditate for longer time, at least an hour and a half. Go longer, meditate longer, see what happens. Many are healing. Many are healing. I talked about paralytical conditions. Definitely, various kinds of conditions. I can't get the medical terms. There's a person in Bangalore who is just said to be hopeless from medical side, but then he's happy and then running his business now the way he was. So we do longer meditations. So there is this supernatural state that we all are going into sometimes, and there are those times so where remissions can happen, things can really heal deep inside. States are not very well understood by the science, but all it knows is that it is out of ordinary brain wave movement has been observed. So it is the same meditation that we are doing with all that, with that group. That's what can happen in group meditations. People can go into these deeper states faster. There's always help. For example, a place like Pyramid Valley, if you are meditating together in this nature, in that pyramids, right, there's only positive energy around it. And then in a group you're meditating, there can be in this specific where everybody's focus is to get better. No distractions, right? When you're going to an ashram, there's no distraction because we've gone there for a specific thing. So we're totally into that. So there is that opportunity to be in a place like that. And that's why we have to take time off to go to the Himalayas and spend some time. Occasionally, right? And spend some time for ourselves and go to an ashram, spend some time. And then do long meditations and experience some of these deeper states too. So let's go once again into our meditation. Relax yourself. Sit comfortably. Breath mindfulness meditation. Those of you new, in this meditation, our goal is to empty our mind. And for that, we observe our normal, natural breath. So the posture is very simple. 3 things. Close your eyes, remove the specs, cross your fingers into fingers. Rest your hands comfortably in your lap. Cross your feet at ankle. And then observe your normal, natural breath. Take any point on the nose and observe the breath is going in, coming out. As we observe the breath is going, coming out, automatically my mind starts becoming empty. So the whole duration, we want to be attending onto the breath. In case the breath goes, or the attention goes onto thoughts, bring your attention back to the breath and observe breath again. This goes on. So it's not an expectation that you remain empty-minded throughout, not at all. That's where we want to go. But then naturally we have thoughts and then bring your attention back to the breath again, go back to thoughts, again come back to the breath. Mind pulls to the thoughts and then we bring it back to the breath. This is called Anapanasati, our breath mindfulness meditation. Eyes closed, fingers into fingers, rest your hands comfortably on lap, and then cross your feet. 3 things. Comfortable posture. On the chair, on the floor is fine. On the floor means you're cross-legged. On the chair, cross your feet at ankle. And before doing this breath mindfulness meditation, we're doing a process called heart elevation. We're going to keep your hand on your chest area and then feel an heightened emotion of love, gratitude in your heart with your eyes closed, specs removed. You want to be observing the breath. And then slowly become empty. Relax yourself with your eyes closed, specs removed, dear friends. So friends, as we are understanding this week, we amplify our experience of life by doing new things, breaking the routine. you can easily see we become more mindful. So we break the routine, things that we do so routinely. I talked about multiple times. If you're doing anything that a fixed time, think of it. Of course, I know the old school has been always told that it's got to be very, very fixed. Not anymore. If you want to have that little bit of excitement in the air, then why make it so predictable? Do everything that you do, but then change the routine. See what happens, right? Different times, different schedules, different things. Do differently. Now, second, we said purpose of life. When we align our amplified experience significantly, when we align ourselves to what we really like. And then for that, we said heart-based, mind-based. Mind is short-term, instant gratification. Heart means intuition, is looking at longer term. One is a dual nature of it, another is a non-dual nature of it. The dual nature, which is essentially this tiny limited self, this 0.01%, is saying this is all environmental related. The non-dual nature, which is your larger consciousness, which is what we become that when we go into meditation, is giving us this longer term insight based on your longer term entire life experience, past and future, on the longer term basis, based on your environment, your connection with everybody. It's telling you something more. That service may be much better for you. This business would be much better for you. You're better off going and then taking up a teaching job, as opposed to right now you're probably doing a technician or work, whatever that is. So it is aligning, it is intuitively telling us and making our intuitive feelings stronger. These feelings are always there for us, but we have suppressed them, disconnected from them because environment taken over. So now we're gaining it back again. So we listen to the heart. Now, as we meditate more and more, yes, our intuitive feelings become stronger. So like I shared my experience. Now, however, it can take time. For some, it's still not clear. Of course, it is the most toughest thing. So when things are not clear, then we said, put it in. You will have at least some idea, okay, something you want to do. Things are not exactly clear, this is what you want to do, but then you have some idea. So let's start with it, right? Start with it and put in your manifestation process, your visualization process. See if you're able to sustain feelings. You're feeling your future ahead of the event. You're feeling the future ahead of the event, and you're trying to feel how your life is going to change. And then you'll know it. One. When that doesn't, while that is there in your visualization, one can also going into the flow. So we said you got to do something. Don't wait for the purpose to be revealed. There's no such thing. I mean, it may happen for some people. It may happen, the purpose to be revealed. This is what you have to do. Go and then construct the temple, right? But don't wait for the purpose to be revealed. Instead, when you have some idea of what you want to do, and if you don't have any idea, pick up something that you're doing. Pick up anything, doesn't matter. If you don't have any idea, pick up anything. You have some idea, take any of those. If you have 3 choices to make, take something. And to do it, there's this going into the flow. The concept of going into the flow is to take a clear, conquerable, tangible, small goal. Suppose you want to go and teach. A lot of times we hear that teaching is my passion, but you're actually doing something else. If you want to do teaching, so take a smaller, conquerable goal. Don't take the whole thing saying that no, I'm right out going in and then become a full-fledged teacher. I'm going to resign my job and do this and everything and put it aside. I don't know, just stop my business suddenly. Don't do any of those. Go beyond your comfort zones. You do these 4 things, right? Go beyond your comfort zone. That means create an extra time, right? Shift your schedule a little bit. If teaching to school children is what you like, then you got to take 2 hours during the day. So work with the manager, push your schedule a little bit, do in the extra 2 hours of extra time in the evening. For those 2 hours, go to one school nearby, take a goal and say, take a clear goal. For next 30 days, I'm going to go twice a week and then teach. Take a clear, simple goal. Make it clear, right? Not make it ambiguous. And I'm teaching, okay, I'll go and then teach every day. Something small, clear goal, and then one task at a time in that. So once you set up for the next 30 days, I'm going to do, worry about tomorrow. Tomorrow's class, what I'm going to do, just that. Don't worry about this full 30 days and then do too much. Right? Just worry about this tomorrow. Because the moment we are putting it too big, then obviously we get lost. We don't know, and then can't even measure we're liking it or not liking it. So take one task at a time, just tomorrow. For tomorrow, what I'm going to teach, only that much. Put full attention to the detail. Don't leave it vague. Attention to the detail, plan it, do everything for it, everything required for it, right? If you're required to call a friend, take the friend. When you go there, you go early and then rehearse it. Whatever that you want to do, and then have a discussion with the principal or teacher or class, and then do the teaching. A clear, measurable goal, detail. You got to go into the detail because flow is about going into the detail. Because when you go into the detail, only you will know whether you like it or not like it. Understand this part? Okay, I'll teach. Just walk in and then that at 7 o'clock you have to teach, and you just show up there at 7:02 and say yes, I want to start, and then just say something. That's perhaps you're getting carried away of having that feeling of teaching, but otherwise you don't necessarily have the enjoyment. You go into the detail to see whether you like it. Everything is important because flow is where people are going into the detail. When when you go into the detail, of course you are making it the way you want this to happen, and you got to enjoy it, right? A lot of people don't enjoy going to the detail. Teaching requires that you go into the detail, you prepare very well, you understand very well. There are some jobs where you're high level, there's some are detail. Now, so go into the detail, go beyond comfort zone, one goal at a time, and then see what happens. If you are going into the flow, then you know that you didn't even realize your 1 hour of teaching has happened just like that. 1 hour of teaching is over. You didn't even realize that no, who spoke. You're speaking a lot of new things because when you go into the flow difference, a lot of times the I concept, we keep ourselves aside. So we flow, the knowledge is also flowing. Insights come in where people are they're forgetting about time environment. So that means they are completely forgetting about themselves. And so they're becoming one with this thing. And so that's why that, whole bunch of happiness comes because, for example, when you go into a hilltop, what happens? When you go to a hilltop, or you go into a deep forest anywhere, what happens? Suddenly, we feel minuscule, so we become one with that whole nature because it's just such a huge expanse. So when you become one with it, when we drop our eyes, so we drop our limitations, so we start expansive, we're feeling expansive, we feel that the gush of energy comes in, we drop ourselves, and energy comes in. We become one, we merge with it. So that's what happens when you're in a flow, whether it's gardening, whether it's the teaching job, whether it is debugging, coding, all of these where we feel so joyful because then we feel energetic. At the moment you become one, we forget ourselves, we merge into that energy because we take our mind off of it, we merge into that energy, and so we feel a lot of energy there. We feel energetic, we feel whole. So to go into the flow is to take something and then start. Now, aligning what is important is always around it. What is important, right? The mind is always playing a game and say everything is important. So think of this. Ask yourself if you have only an year left in your life, or if some of you don't want to, if you have only 3 months left in your life, an year left in your life, what is important for you? See if you are able to filter it down to something lesser. Filter it down. These are standard things that we have, but these are things that we can do a little bit of homework on. One, just meditation is gaining clarity. Do it, right? Second, some of these things around the purpose. Long ago, I learned from sir about this. When I was working with him regularly, so there's always an opportunity to interact, right, regularly. He used to work for like 20 hours, I think. Sleep very less, 4 hours maybe. That's all sleeping. But full day calendar, full day events, full morning to night, late into the night sleeping. Then I asked him, then he said, I work as if tomorrow does not exist. If today is the last day, what would you do? We constantly question ourselves. We prioritize. It gives us that priority. What would I do if today is my last day in life? We prioritize to that level. Things become so clear. Then suddenly becomes, okay, what am I chasing this property deal for? What am I chasing this, another house for? I don't know, another this thing for, that thing for. Why is it? Why am I doing it? We start questioning. When we have this question different, then we start questioning ourselves. What am I doing? Why am I doing? Where is it going to be? If it is this day is the last day, is that what I have to do? Or should I spend those 4 hours just sit with my family? Or I must go immediately. Immediately I must go to this place and then contribute my service, whatever that is. So remember, this is really, I question myself all the time. There are two types of broadly people. One are limited with this material illusion, so they are stuck in it, one the other. The second is constantly just questioning themselves inside. Hey, why did I do today this way? Is my experience right? What at the end of the day or during the day, they're questioning themselves. Whatever I did, is it right? How can I improve for myself? That means that they are in observed consciousness. They're observing what they're doing. There are those who are just carried going away. There are those who are observing whatever they're doing. And just that itself means that we are in this non-dual nature, and then we are questioning ourselves what we're doing, and then they're absolutely going to progress. You keep contemplating. They are going to, because they're asking the right questions, and so there is an answer that we're going to gain. So we have to ask some of these important questions. Sit down every now and then and ask, if it's my last day today, what am I doing? And then we must recognize that whatever we do is never goes waste. There's a lot of times we say the reason we don't jump in and do something is because we feel it's going to be a waste of time. But remember, this consciousness is always evolving. Consciousness is always progressing. And everything is for an experience. So there's nothing called waste. We make up our mind, because a lot of times we don't make up our mind. But once we make up our mind, this whole consciousness is awareness is paying attention. So always, once we make up our mind, there is always help coming. And because we're attentive now, we take the help. So recognizing that whatever we do is never goes waste. So we no longer have this thing about, should I do or not do? The wavering won't be there, we jump in and do it. And then what is this? Aligning your abilities to desires, giving clarity. So let me share a slide. There is something called, we all have three things: abilities, desires, and our role. Abilities, desires, and our roles. So 1 second. Abilities are what we have. Capabilities are abilities, we have roles, and we have desires, right? What we are expected to do is our role in the society, where we are, what we are taken, right? An engineer, marketing, accountant, or a singer, dancer, any of them, right? Our capabilities are what we got to do. What are the things that we have a hard skill, like I sing well, I program well, I know banking knowledge quite a bit. I'm a teacher, I'm a professor, so I'm a physics professor. There is a skill that you've gotten. Skill some you learned. Hard skill, there is the knowledge of an area. Soft skill is whether you are good at creating things, whether you are good at talking to people and then talking about a given Product promotion, meaning talking. You're good at talking, impressing people, right? And some are very good at that. Some are not necessarily there, but some are just creating. They love to create designs, products. Some are just like to operate and then support people using it. Right? There are three things are there. You are a creator, you are creating things. I don't know, there's somebody who is making them, creating awareness about it, and then someone who is helping people use it and then benefit from it, right? Broadly, these three are there. It's called running. Creating, people who are selling, marketing, and then people then who are operating it, right? So either you are a leader or you're a follower. So there are both out there. You like to lead, you like to take initiative. Everybody from a follower becomes a leader in meditation. And everybody initially may have only create, promote, or operate, but they become all as we go along to recognize that no, we are no less or anything. But in our given situation, given time, you would like to do something, one or the other. So broadly, if you go back and look at what is your core soft skill, you can just analyze what is your core soft skill, all right? And then desire is what you think is going to give you happiness, right? You want to play that sport, you want to practice that art, you want to go and then teach. It is something, it could be different, or it could be same aligned to you, right? So the biggest challenge is those who have obviously are doing today a role, but then it is not something that I enjoy. So they're obviously unhappy, right? If you're similarly doing the role, if you don't have joint here, if the sections are not intersecting, then obviously you're not necessarily enjoying, right? Either there's no learning or there's no enjoyment when you take up. So if your capability is aligned to role, this is what you're expected to do, and you can do it. You're expected to do, you can do it, all right? You gain the skill, expect to do it, but it's not giving you happiness. It's possible, absolutely possible. All right, something gives you joy, and then you can do it. You have a desire, but you have an ability. It gives you joy, and you can do it. I have a singing skill is there. From the childhood, I know that there is singing skill, but I'm not using it. I have my art drawing skill, I'm not using it. I'm a good speaker, and then people told me several times in my family circles, wow, you impress people, but I don't do it. Instead, you know what I've taken? I've merely taken a support role. Even though I speak and then I good orator, that means I influence. Maybe chances are you travel, take a marketing job, and then you'll be very happy. But instead of taking a support role, just sit behind and then only doing a phone call. But some may be liking that, but you may not be that, right? So you have an inherent skill, and that gives you joy and happiness. But then your role is something else, and so we have a misalignment. So there's no happiness, right? So look at yourself. Obviously, the best is that center where all three circles meet. All three circles meet. All right. You have a good capability, a good skill, knowledge, and then that is your deep desire, and that's the role you're doing. Some of us have aligned to ourselves. That's what I'm doing today. I've totally aligned myself to all three that I really love. It is possible for all of us. Absolutely possible for all of us. And what did I do when I was working at IBM? It's not like I ran away from IBM, because even though I wanted to do service, from a small company, went to a big company, I still aligned myself, aligned my role. So what did I find? Apart from doing my technical work, where I was more or less getting sort of bored, but then I looked at it and said, let me see that now I can teach. And also as an exec being responsible, I'm ensured that now we also innovate more. Even though we rather than doing the same thing, we innovate more in the product. As I say, teach meditation. I've taken both. So I aligned my role to my desire and to my ability. Absolutely. Ability of teaching is there, of meditation is there. So I aligned my role to my ability, right? So we can do that. So when we align our role to the abilities, and to your desires, there's the best thing that you can have. If you're not enjoying going into the flow, if you're not enjoying or not going into the flow, is because your role has a mismatch with your abilities. You've been slapped to be on this role, but you just don't have that skill, which is obvious. Which is obvious, right? But you're doing things which is a mismatch with the desire. So deep inside, there is the unhappiness is there. So now is the time to bring out what gives you happiness, right? We have to do certain activity to survive, but then all your heart is in helping somebody else. So be it. For now, you continue in what you're doing, but go beyond the comfort zone, and then what your desire is, go and then give some time for it. Weekends. That's how I gave time, dear friends. I gave time as soon as it came to me. I gave time for service from 2003 while I was doing my technical role, but then certainly my all our weekends. Vani and I have it's been a fabulous support with the children, young children, but we used to go 50 kilometers every day to Pyramid Valley and then spend the time and come back every weekend, Saturday, Sunday, inclusive, right? It gives us happiness. I've done that. And there's whatever way that gives you happiness, you do. Some of my colleagues do it every day, every weekend. They go to a trekking mornings. They do the mornings 4 hours of trekking. They do every weekend. It's fine if that's what gives them happiness. They're doing it, right? So if you have deep desire for something, then chances are that you have hidden talent. So this is another one, right? It's important. If we have a desire of always wanting to do, then we have the talent supporting that inside us. There is a hidden talent for us. Okay, it is just not showing up. You feel every time you see somebody singing and your heart goes out, and then you feel that's going to be, then you have a singing capability. Just you will be surprised. Go and then try it. You'll be surprised. They are the ones who are going to learn that skill so quickly, right? If you are innately getting inspired by somebody teaching, so perhaps you have that deep teaching skill, start it and then see what happens, right? So you have the talent. So the talents are there. If the desire is deeply there, that means the talent also will be there with you. So you can easily nurture it out and that comes out. Where does it come from? It comes from a very long past. All right, friends. So change your role, utilizing your abilities and give joy and fulfillment. I want to show this picture. Ikigai. With this, we end our session on purpose. Using your talents, and this Argentinian woman, look at this, right? This whole house, she is drawn, hand drawn. They're not they're not stickers, okay? Whole house she's doing, all right? And she goes on doing it. She's got this great talent. She just goes on doing. And apparently this house has become such a beautiful place that it's an attraction. So in a little way, she found a way to make others happy and make herself totally happy because she just feels so much fulfillment and just drawing. So you don't have to do something like super duper, outside. If we believe in something, then we do it. I mean, I think we've learned somebody in Assam, millions of, I think the person is planting trees for like 30, 40 years. Just went on planting trees. There are so many trees that he planted. So there is a way that we can give back by doing things, even little things to big things, right? So this I thought is a great example of not having to do anything, but love it. You have a great artistic ability, so you kept on doing it. Now this is a beautiful house that people cherish when they walk by that house. They know they really love it. They enjoy looking at this house. I don't know if she's opened up as a visitor's house to go through, and then I'm sure it might have opened up to go through this and then just spend some beautiful time. So purpose of life will be revealed to all of us. We will be aligning to things that we most like happily as we are on the meditative path. With that, I stop here. And I take closing comments from Karthikeyan sir.
Another beautiful day, Chandra. Wonderful meditation. Very interesting sharing by Kushi and Madhusudana. Still remember the sharing of Pramod Maharaj and the Shreyas of yesterday. It will be there for a long time to come. But you started with this deep meditation, delta state, gamma, supernatural state, deep mystical experiences. I am reminded of my reaction with two great masters. One is Vedati Maharishi of the Manavalakala, very famous in Tamil Nadu and many other places also. I asked Swami, I met him only at his 90th birthday. I was amazing point of following, thousands of people, even in the hot sun, they were sitting and listening to him and told us about him. I asked Swami, I said, you are studying only up to 4th standard or 5th standard. He belonged to a weaver community and he had to start working very early in life, hard work. Then became an enlightened master, great following, wrote 2,000 to 3,000 poems in Tamil. And thereafter, he has gone around the world. He used to speak beautiful English also. And what poems he has written about the origin of the universe and all that. And also the person how to get over the negativities and all. Beautiful concepts. People, even scientists are discussing about this. He told me, I remember that very clearly. He said in meditation, when you are in deep meditation, beyond a certain point, like you say the gamma state or delta state, he says everything is revealed to you. You don't have to make an effort because you are one. I can't repeat the same words. In Tamil, he said me, when your consciousness is one with the existence, everything is there. There is nothing new. What you desire is revealed to you. Is there nothing great about it? You know what happens in deep meditation. These wonders. So no longer these are miracles. They explain. Another thing is another great master, Reverend Alex Arbito. Like Patriji, I was very close to him. The great psychic surgeon, as he called, from Philippines. Very simple man. I have seen him performing bare hand surgeries.
Yes, sir.
I'm not reading stories. I have seen him. I have photographed, videographed number of times. And ultimately, he said, I know you don't believe it, but lie down. You don't need it. I was watching on my stomach. He just, rubbed in my stomach, then prayed. He prayed like this, closed his eyes, prayed. This is his divine hand. This is his physical hand. He said, I was watching, he didn't do any knife, but I heard the noise, pluck. His fingers were in my stomach, inside my stomach. I could feel it. And then a little later, he took out something and dropped it in the bin. And then again, he just rubbed it like this, closed. So there is no cutting, no stitching. I seen it, I experienced it. So these are all no longer, these are not miracles. They are not, what should we say? So the reality it happened. Because he says, at certain point of time, I can draw my divine energy. I'm gifted with that. I got it from my mother. I developed it. It happened. He had done it to thousands of people and all that. And recently, he left the body. That's a different matter. So the more and more we listen to you, understand this, what meditation can help. So miracles cease to be miracles when you know how it happens. So Vedati Maharishis, I remember the conversation, and my good friend, Reverend Alex Arbito. So these are amazing concepts, only thing is deeper understanding. So meditation is miraculous. So I got one more term to consider. Meditation can do miracles, or meditation is miraculous. No longer superstition, no longer any conversion. It's all reality. Amazing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Certainly, I was too fascinated every time I've come across Alex Arbito's work or any of the psychic healers' work. There is this John of God in Brazil. That's another type of work. They all are all energy work. So yes, thank you, sir. Thank you, dear friends. Wonderful. We're still in the 5th week, but we're entering the last week. Since it's a 40-day program, but tomorrow is sharing day, so we'll share. tomorrow more. And then Sunday, we're going to learn from some leaders. So we have more things lined up. So we look forward to meeting you back. Thank you so much.